rugged sweep of Wyoming leaves a dramatic imprint on the mind. This is a natural place to find Ricki Klages, a painter whose compositions include landscapes prominently. As an Army brat, she was exposed to a constant input of new scenery. Stuttgart, Hawaii, Korea, the Southwest U.S., and later summers in England. And recently, with her husband and 2 children, she spent 4 years in northern Italy, in the Lake District at the foothills of the Alps. She says she's a restless traveler, yearning for the next place, but missing the places left behind. These emotions show up in her recent work, where metaphorically these falling objects suggest a veil of tears and melancholy. Yet it's the beauty of the natural world which inspires awe, cloud formations which transfix, and filtered sunlight, creating a kind of euphoria. Ricki received her MA and MFA in painting and drawing from the University of New Mexico, Albuquerque. She has had solo exhibitions both nationally and internationally, and has received many awards and juried exhibitions, as well as fellowship grants. We met in a studio amongst some buildings annexed by the university for faculty and graduate students. So there's a point that an artist decides that's who they are. They're an artist. How did that work for you?
Growing up, the earliest memory is, looking at books of paintings and just thinking, I want to know how to do that. It was a conscious, very early thought. And it was not really until I decided to go to college and major in art that I think it became the thing that I was going to do for the rest of my life, as opposed to something that I just did on my own, because I wanted to master how to draw a hand. So I would draw it hour after hour, contour drawings. I put on like a Playtex glove and draw it with all the folds. And it was just that kind of thing. It'd be notebook paper. It wasn't to show, it was just to develop a mastery of the technique. Up until that point, it was just, I would have my projects and I would try and do paintings and I would do pen and ink and, all the stuff that you do when you're that age in high school, especially, dragons and sort of trippy stuff. I guess in the 70s, and my skill level was there, but my ideas yet hadn't happened. So it was really just learning, just trying to figure it out.
You're really still just a kid.
Yeah, you haven't lived enough to have the ideas.
Yeah, exactly.
You got to have a little bit of hardship and a little bit of life, and you have to figure out where those things are going to come from and how they're going to be expressed. But college was when it all coalesced for me, and it was like, yeah, of course I'm going to do this. There's no other avenue for me as a human being than to do this. Being a painter is creating illusion, and the illusion that I create is like, I'm inventing a world that you can inhabit mentally. You can go into there and you can visit this spot. I created this for you. And that's an amazing feeling that, I'm not a writer. I wouldn't be very good at it even if I tried, but so I can write in my painting. I can create that alternate reality or that magical moment that maybe doesn't happen in this physical reality, but it happens in my reality that I'm creating for you.
So this painting back here.
This is one of those tough paintings. The only thing I like is this, and everything else has just been obliterated recently. And as an administrator, it's very hard for me to get to my art because I tend to be behind a desk a lot, dealing with students and things. So when I have a chance, I do. And this has been an idea that I've been wanting to work on for a long time, based on some earlier work that I've done about tables of things that might cause an alchemical reaction within the body and cause you to float. And it could be a jar of acorns and a bowl of milk and a half-eaten watermelon rind. Just really odd things that exist, and they're all about alchemy. I painted out a lot of stuff that was at least as far along as this was. I needed to kind of negate a bunch of bad decisions. I'm just going to take it out. Yeah. And then come at it from a different way, and I think you have to do that from time to time. It's hard. But in the meantime, I've got these, which are easy.
So is this underpainting?
This is how I start, yeah. I've got them all built and ready to go, but I've got a bunch more on the other side. I've done about 7 altogether, but I've got a bunch more. The idea is to keep coming for these. I figure as long as I haven't bled that particular path dry, I'm ready to do more. This will be easy, this will be fine. I can just, when I'm ready, just pull up one panel and just do stuff, and they work through quickly. And this one's just gonna be one of those ones that hangs out for a while in the ether, and eventually there'll be a point where I'll go, I know exactly what I need to do for this painting. And until I get there, it's just going to marinate. I have to have several bodies of work at the same time in order for me to feel like I'm really
keeping the plates in the air.
Yeah, I can't do one thing at a time.
Ricki says she oftentimes thinks our technology and manufactured comforts leave us unprepared for truly being a part of the natural world as we once were. She paints idealized dramas of human habitation, with the cloth remnants and bits of broken china placed within as much a part of the landscape as the trees and grasses. And her figures have transcendent movements that still occur in dreams, memory, ritual, and magic moments in nature.
I've got a lot of paintings stacked around in this studio that have yet to see an audience, and I keep thinking, you got to get out of here. It's time for you to go, because I've already had the conversation. The conversation was done as soon as I completed the painting, you know. It's not about me anymore anyway. It's about whoever's looking at it. Art should not be made for other artists to get, you know. I mean, who is your audience?
The dialogue is about the human condition.
Right.
It's not about some self-referential.
Exactly. How boring is that? And how, you know, it's like, you know, inward seeking, belly button lint picking kind of stuff. It's just, I think it's just completely, what's the word I'm trying to find? You alienate everybody with doing work like that. And I what's the point of doing that? I don't want to alienate people. You know, I want to engage them. For me, it's, I don't know, it's like I'm mostly in tune with myself as a person when I'm doing my work, when I'm painting, and when I'm pondering my painting, and when I'm trying to figure out something. I feel like I never have to meditate in my life as long as I can do my work, because it is meditative to me. And it's all, your mind is going in a million different directions, yet at the same time, you're processing and you're problem solving and you're figuring things out, and you're doing things that you look back and you think, wow, how did I do that? That was good. You know, I wish, and you think you can't replicate it, and you do it over and over and over again, and it just sort of happens. Those are magical moments. They don't always happen. But then there are those blissful chunks of time that disappear, and you're productive, and you can't, you know, for me, it's like, you know, no color I mix is bad. Everything I pull from my palette is exactly what I need. And then for every great painting that works that way, there's another one that kicks your butt. Nobody would know, I don't think, when they see them side by side. I think it's really ultimately the artist that has the difficulty with the work. I get this a lot from students who want to major in art. And the parents are concerned, what are they going to do with an art degree? And I say, be happy. Be fulfilled as a human being. And I say, if they're doing what they love, it will happen. Yeah. Somehow they will find their path. I mean, but it's not going to happen by making them be an engineer, because then you're going to have an unhappy person in a suit. And that's not going to do so much for them either, you know. Let them do that. Even if they don't become artists, even if they just have this experience with an art degree, you know, they become creative thinkers. And it does help. It does help. It helps you to describe things to other people. It doesn't mean you appreciate things better. I tell my students when they graduate that, you know, don't go on to graduate school right away. Get a crappy job. Try and earn a living. And if you can still find time to do your artwork, you're on your way. Cut back on everything else so that you can buy art supplies and that you can keep doing your own work. And I think that says a lot to the drive aspect. You know, if you can do it with all of those other impediments in your way, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. You'll manage to make it. You know, you're not doing it because you know you can sell it. You're doing it despite the fact that you probably be sitting around and decorating your house for years with this stuff, you know, and if it sells, fine, good, but if it doesn't matter. You'll make it anyway. And that's a hard concept to impart to students because it's really an idealistic concept that you make art to make art. You're not making art because you're going to sell it and you're going to be famous, because most of them won't. You're making art because it's just what you have to do, and that's driven, that you're driven to do it.
Yeah, you've got to have the love. Well, I really enjoyed this conversation. Thank you.
Oh, good. Oh. For me too. For me too.